we're very much in this beta mindset, which is kind of go, 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 and also a lot of that flight or fight on edge feeling that most of us are kind of usually in on the daily basis. I think the secret sauce to this is not only are you creating that state for restorative nature, but you're also allowing then those downloads. When you're doing meditation or you're doing a practice like breath work, and this is similar that usually then you're like, oh, wait, I'm seeing something underneath what I've been kind of looping on and trying to figure out.
Hey there. Welcome to the Peakality Podcast, your new favorite spot for unlocking the best version of yourself. Ready to level up your life? We've got you. We're all about blending technology with human wisdom and the drive to be better, personally and professionally. Each week, we dig into the real stuff, strategies, tools, and mindsets that cut through the noise and help you thrive. No fluff, just practical insights from experts, thought leaders, and people who've been there, done that. And we're here to break it all down into easy steps. Whether you're kicking off a fresh start or physicians seeking to inspire your patients, we've got stories, tips, and tricks to inspire growth in each area of life. Your peak potential's calling, starting right now. Hit subscribe, join our crew, and let's move forward today. Today, I have a powerful conversation lined up with a visionary who's breaking new ground in the healing space. Michael Pottern is the founder of the Denver Zen Den, the first sober psychedelic clinic of its kind. With a background in business, real estate, and wellness, Michael is passionate about connecting people to transformative experiences. He believes that tending to the nervous system and staying curious about life is essential for a vibrant and meaningful existence. His mission is to help people integrate those life lessons into daily life and to build resourceful, interconnected communities. Let's welcome Michael to the show. Well, thank you, Michael, so much for joining us today. I'm very excited for this conversation, for everyone to learn more about what it is that you're doing. So let's just start with the big vision. What inspired the creation of the Denver Zen Den?
Great question, Courtney. I would say that it was founded based off of my first company and my exit from that, and the stress and the night sweats and everything that kind of went along with, really having to switch my identity from a specific thing that I've been doing for about 10 years. And at the time, I had the opportunity to learn meditation, transcendental meditation, TM. And from that, I really got to go deeper with what that type of practice could do. But of course, everybody's always like, well, I don't have the time for that. I don't have the availability to do these things, especially in that 2 times a day, 20 minutes each time. And that's actually shorter than a lot of the other meditation styles that are out there. And so, in the process of kind of my wellness explorations, I came across different technologies that actually really, when woven together, created a pretty unique nervous system reset capacity and capability. And so, we had a real estate opportunity here in Denver, Colorado. And so, we started the Denver Zen Den about 2.5 years ago. And so, when we use that light, sound, vibration, and frequency and weave them together, we can really create these awe-inspiring experiences, which instead of, having to do 2 hours of meditation, you can actually get a pretty good similar effect from just 20 minutes of an experience.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I love that. And in 20 minutes so I started with transcendental meditation. Like that was my first intro into meditation, and found it really helpful for me just to learn how to, and just to quiet the mind. I think, can you explain how your technology is a form of meditation, essentially, and what exactly is happening when someone comes to the Denver Zen Den?
Yeah, so we'll start with the light side of it. So we work with a flickering light, or what we call a stroboscopic light, and the client's eyes are actually closed during the experience. And so what happens is three things. Because the brain is not getting image, but the optic nerve is picking up frequencies from this high-end LED light system, it'll actually get curious and start to entrain into these different frequencies. So, we're very much in this beta mindset, which is kind of go, 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 and also a lot of that flight or fight on edge feeling that most of us are kind of usually in on the daily basis. And this will actually train down into alpha, theta, or up into gamma. So really good for that neuroplasticity side. The second part that I think is really interesting is because the brain's not getting image, it actually comes up with colors and patterns that are very awe-inspiring. We call it IMAX for the soul. You'll see colors and patterns that are just very not only beautiful, but they actually evoke emotion from people. And so when you can combine that frequency shift in the brain also with this awe-inspiring moment that almost wakes up the system to say, hey, something's going on here. Then we actually weave in a vibroacoustic side. So we have a soma bed, which is a vibrational bed, and then we also use vibrational vests. I won't get into the specifics, but all this together really actually allow for the vibration to penetrate deeper into like the fascia. Because you're distracting that flight or fight system or the mind with all this beautiful opulence. So all that together really creates that transformational resetting the nervous system and repatterning the mind.
Oh, very cool. So you are having a flickering light with a vibration bed and vest while you're in this experience. And then
Yes.
at the same time, you also have headphones, right? That's playing music.
Yeah, so we have over 180 different sessions that are created. So there's a theme for different people. Obviously, everybody's going through different things and or relates to different sounds or themes differently. So we have everything from underwater adventures, where you're with whales and dolphins or outer space experiences, to more therapeutic, where you're actually doing breath work and you're doing 20-minute more guided meditations and things like that. So really, it's a full range of what then creates that specialness that really speaks to somebody feeling that this is personalized, it's for them. Yeah, we've just seen some great results from people that we not normally wouldn't find coming into a place like this. You and I have been working with some veterans in a really beautiful way that when they leave, they say joy and bliss after they experience what we're doing. We get a lot of moms, and we also have a lot of people that are, really going through life transitions, whether that's, a divorce or even cancer patients and their families, because finding respite and a time for us to have a little bit of space can be some of the most meaningful things to complement other treatments and therapies as well.
Very cool. So you basically are taking three different forms of stimulation. You've got the flickering light, in which you visually see shapes and based on the flickering light, and that your mind translates, as well as the vibrating bed and the vibrating vest, along with the music. And those three components essentially take you into a different um, brave wave link, vibrating. How do you explain that? Like you were
It's
talking about the beta, theta, alpha, like this is all new to me. So, can you explain those different um,
Mhm.
levels and frequency and what exactly is happening? You said, I believe that most of us are in go, 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 and that's, you said beta, I believe.
Correct.
And when you're doing these, three components of stimulation, that puts you into a different state. Is that, am I understanding this correctly?
You are. Think of it this way. So alpha is a little bit more slower, a little bit longer brainwave states. So that's what like professional athletes want to get into that flow state. That's more in that alpha, more intuitive, much more in the moment versus, trying to process the world. So that's, I would say, one of my favorite states. Then you can even go deeper down to theta, and that's more in that we're not at the sleep level there, but you're at this more etheric place where you can actually allow the body to go into I'm safe, but I can also start taking care of things that normally I'm, just trying to defend and protect the body. I can actually start to even get better respite, better rest, better just reset value from being in that place for extended amount of times. And then we have gamma, which is much more that we'll say, connection to spirit. It's that much more higher vibration that can also leave somebody very inspired, very connected to life, and also connected to themselves.
So when you're in one of these, there's various states in which people are in at different times, um, depending upon what they're doing physically, and you can train your mind or be kind of condition yourself to be in a certain state depending upon if you're meditating, if you're
Mhm.
doing experiencing what you're talking about, and having this multi-sensory experience that will help you get into a more meditative state that quiets the mind so that then you can feel calmer, more relaxed, and more at ease after experiencing your technology. Am I understanding?
Yeah, well, and yes, and I mean, I think the secret sauce to this is not only are you creating that state for restorative nature, but you're also allowing then those downloads. When you're doing meditation or you're doing a practice like breath work, and this is similar that usually then you're like, oh, wait, I'm seeing something underneath what I've been kind of looping on and trying to figure out. We can actually step back a little bit and get a new perspective on that. And so that can create not only profound, breakthroughs for business opportunities, but also just with letting ourselves be a little bit more kind to ourselves and others, just because we're like, oh, I see that a little bit differently. Because usually it's just, but we don't know why things are happening or people are acting the way that they are often. And so when we can get a little bit of perspective, that can actually be a meaningful thing for relationships.
Yeah.
And then the final thing I'll just share is because you're actually also creating this, unique inspired state, we can actually then pattern interrupt. And so if you are looping on a thing you don't want to be thinking about all the time, this actually can be used as a way to almost replace that and say, hey, we can pattern interrupt here and almost put some new software in. And so that's where I really believe this paired with journaling and or other modalities can be really profound.
Oh, yeah. I like the idea of encompassing it with other modalities. But also, I think that that's a really interesting perspective that in offering a new perspective of things by going through this experience, whether you're journaling or, but specifically having the experience of this strobostopic, call it light flickering, experience and what it's doing to your brain and how you can create a new perspective, and how it is of a situation. And I think that that's really, really, really powerful.
Yeah.
Just eye opening that having an experience, whether it's meditation or having this multi-sensory journey, can really offer a new insight into whatever it is that you're going through. Like you mentioned, cancer, divorce, relationship challenges, work, and then walking away from that by being able to have a new perspective. I think that that is really, really, really powerful. That's amazing. So, exactly does it work? You said so. Transcendental meditation is 20 minutes. I started doing that like a couple years ago, just to intro, as mentioned. But is this the same length? And when someone comes to Denver Zen Den, that it's about 20 minutes, and them experiencing this multi-sensory experience.
Experience, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of things. So we actually will usually, when people come into the Denver Zen Den, do an hour or an hour and a half because then there's some journaling or some conversation at the beginning. quite often people are so dysregulated that they need some time just for that nervous system to come down.
Mm.
Um, when we talk about TM being just 20 minutes, well, that's once you're, been doing it for a couple of years and you've really got that pattern down and you know how to drop in. So there is just different amounts of time that I think uh, we have to work with because of what's been built around, the stress and the extension of the nervous system. So we really like to actually kind of approach it in a multi-step pathway so they get a couple little microdoses of that meditative state, but with different themes, as I mentioned. So we'll do 2 or 3 short sessions within that hour or hour and a half process. But then when people are doing it at home, it could just be a 5 minute practice. It could be a 20-minute practice. There's technologies that we also are a distributor for that's perfect for people that are looking to actually build this into a daily practice where, again, that time will shorten down as you really create that new pathways with the mind.
Oh, very cool. So people can purchase product and take it home, as well as experience it within your facilities, your business. Um, that's really great. I mean, if people want to be able to purchase that and have a daily experience with it, our Lewis, our mutual friend, he's cannot speak highly enough about the technology. He purchased it for his home, and it's helped him immensely just be able to get into that meditative state and even learn how to meditate on his own when he's traveling and he doesn't bring the equipment with him. So I think it's really really powerful, and and I think that you know that's something interesting to think about when you come in and your nervous system is all worked up, to be able to take the time to really the analogy that I is coming to me is, you've got a cup of, dirty water, and then you're filling it with clean water, and then eventually all that dirty water will overflow and out of that cup of water, and then you have a clear clean cup. And to me, that is what you're doing. You're going into these meditative state, and you're cleaning your nervous system, so to speak, with newer, better information, and allowing it to kind of regulate itself. Is that kind of a
Yes, that's you spot on, and I love how you actually framed it because that's very analogous to I've coined the term somatic hygiene. And so,
ooh,
how are we tending to the nervous system, which is the somatic body, on a regular basis? So, if we're doing that similar to brushing the teeth, both you're doing a preventative nature your method, you're allowing no buildup of the extra plaque or stress or whatever way you want to look at it, but also it doesn't have to be hard. And there's deprivation tanks or these things that I think have a lot of therapeutic value, but a lot of people don't want to sit there in a quiet space with their mind and their thoughts in salt water where they get a little in their eye and then they're frustrated, and it actually kickstarts a whole nother reaction that we really just want to make this easy. So if we can be providing people very I think meaningful and powerful tools, but that actually are accessible and that they can actually weave into their daily lives and also complement the other therapies or practices that they're doing. This really seems to then become a much more exciting pathway versus an arduous, frustrated thing because, that's how it should be.
yes, totally agree. And I think that that's the problem that most people don't do meditate, is because they're like, this is so hard. It's
Mhm.
hard to quiet the mind. It's hard because you're so used to running and going and being active, and that where it's really challenging for many of us to be still and to quiet the mind. And I think it's really cool. I love that we mentioned it earlier, the IMAX for the soul. And you also refer to it as a sober psychedelic. So can you explain um, what exactly that means when you say a sober psychedelic experience?
Yeah. Well, so we're based here in Colorado, which is, kind of a part of the psychedelic renaissance that's unfolding not only here, but in a couple other states. And I see that to continue to grow as we get more research and also more trust. But if we can also have a similar experience where you're seeing these colors and patterns and you're getting insights to yourself and to why everything is the way it is, and psychedelics offer this opportunity to get out of that default mode network, which is kind of that pattern mind of here's how I have to respond to things. We can do that same thing, but without the psychedelics. And so, I find that to be really what Michael Pollan, with his book How to Change Your Mind, was pointing to is after the pandemic, we realized that we're lonely, we're isolated, we're not in connection with ourselves, we're not, treating our relationships the way that we want, and we're just not feeling that inspiration that, hopefully I see the world coming back into is a relationship of not the doerness, but of this life that's, really worth living in a way that you feel fulfilled.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, and I think that is huge with relationships and that sense of fulfillment, and how getting into our these states enable us to feel more fulfilled rather than just ignoring it, rather than and you'd reference that as like downloads, um, from whatever you want to call it. Source, God, universe, what have you. But essentially, from my understanding and just the, you know, short time I've gotten to know you, it's really been cool to understand how those downloads can influence that different perspective. And that's where the IMAX for the soul and the psychedelic experience really translated well for me once I did experience your technology, because it's amazing. It's really cool. It's it does provide a different perspective of things once you experience it, just because it opens your mind and heart and body into a different form of um, seeing things,
Yeah.
and it's really powerful. It's almost like I felt like a little kid, experiencing something new, almost like a roller coaster, because you're just you're laying there or sitting there, and you're seeing the flickering light, which is translating into these different visuals, and you've got your body's vibrating from the bed and the chat and the vest, and then you've got this music that's playing, that's whatever may be. It's really powerful, and then you walk away from it relaxed, calm, and just at ease and at peace about things. And I think that that's where you're about, how it's impacting relationships and your job, and enabling yourself to just kind of um, relax a little bit, which I think many of us have a hard time doing.
Yeah, well, and childlike wonder is the energy that I felt you kind of pointing to, and that's what we want to bring is this, oh my gosh, I can still have play. That's why we get so many of those moms and those people are like, I'm just always having to be the helper. Well, how do we help those helpers? And that's, special to me. And the other thing that came, through from what you were sharing that I think is meaningful to just reflect is the overview effect. And this is a theory or actually a concept that when astronauts go into outer space back at the Earth, something shifts inside them. And all it takes is just that moment and that perspective that can actually then change the world because Doctors Without Borders, Earth Day, all those things were started by those people that had that aha. And so how can we create that here on Earth?
Oh, and you feel as though that when you are experiencing transcendental meditation, your technology, and these different modalities that offer different people different solutions that enable them to experience a
Hmm.
new perspective of life,
Yeah.
and then being able to feel confident enough to move forward with that new perspective and to really make a huge difference. I think that that's an interesting analogy about the people that go into outer space and the astronauts and how they come back. And it's like, how can we do something different with this planet that we're on? And
Yeah.
that's some powerful stuff. It's not just about our relationships, but it's also in one-on-one. It's more about how can we help change the world in a more positive way.
Yeah.
I think that's really beautiful.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to just kind of bring that up because it is full spectrum.
Yeah.
So it really meets people where they're at. So whether they are going through that life transition where they're just like, I just can't stop obsessing with this thing and just keep trying to figure out why did it happen or whatever that might be. That's, one component. There's the component of the people that are in a good, place and that they're really, trying to actually think in a different way around a subject or around a business idea or around something that they're trying to create. That's also a great place for us to kind of be able to take that moment and step back and actually have technology assist that, and that's what psychedelics, I think are helping with. And that's what I think, a lot of these amazing practices that are available out there. But like you said, it's work. And I think we can have a yes and. I don't think this is replacement, but it's a complement.
Yes. And the work, I think a lot of people avoid the work because they're looking for the quick fix that's going to not really um, you know, encourage them to make some modifications in their life. But what the irony is that by doing the work, your life is so much better. You're so much freer. You're so much more, um, open to real depth and possibility. And I think that's the irony of those that are avoiding the work. It's
Hmm.
hard at first, and then it becomes so much easier. And I think that your technology does such a beautiful job in that transition from the busy mind to the quiet mind. And I love that because it's such an easier transition for people that have difficulty quieting their mind.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a beautiful thing because of that multi-sensory and leveraging the technology to help you just calm your nervous system by experiencing this beautiful multiple modalities of technology coming together to help
Hmm.
you kind of with a breakthrough, really, of whether it's your relationship, work, what have you, or that obsession of a topic that you can't seem to get over.
Yeah, and that multimodal approach can also go for practitioners. Wellness clinics are buying our technologies to bring in ways that actually then empower their practices or their therapies to even be that much more powerful, potent, digestible, integrated. There's so many ways I feel that this isn't just for me. It's not just for people in specific need. We can have group experiences with this. We can do this in different ways that actually then almost create a playful, excited opportunity that actually, little jazz hands here are, shifting and empowering the body and actually helping us be better on the inside as well. So it's a nice, I'd like to say, we like to play jazz with people. And so when you're kind of doing these experiences, you almost kind of you feel like you're going through something together. And we're also really excited about working with people that are bringing their own magic and wizardry, because then we can really create some meaningful opportunities for everybody.
That's a great way to put it. Is the jazz? I mean, I when you're experiencing it, you do feel as though that your body is almost moving, even though it's not, because it's so powerful. You're just like it's almost you do feel like a kid. You're like, wow, this is amazing. This is just exciting. This is, but at the same time, relaxing and just a really enjoyable experience. And then still walking away from it feeling at peace. There's a calmness. There's a an opportunity for a different perspective of things. I think all of those combined. And I love the idea of you guys going into these different clinics because I do think that it offering this as a alternative in meditation, it just helps people transition so much easier, especially when the mind will not stop. You just need to find the right breakthrough, the right opportunity, the right technology to help you accomplish that. And I definitely think that yours is doing that in such a cool, beautiful way. And I feel really grateful when when I first experienced. I was like, "What is going on here? This is amazing!" And it was before I'd done psychedelics, so and then it also helped me to understand what to anticipate when trying the psychedelics for the first time. I wasn't so nervous.
Mhm.
Especially for somebody that's used to being in control, that wants to know what's happening, um, and then what yours is doing, I think also doing a psychedelic is not something you want to do like all the time,
Mhm.
but where yours is enabling, it's helping the brain kind of, as you said, like create new, um, see new opportunities
Mhm.
within. And I think that that is just a really cool, beautiful thing. Yeah, I mean, and I think I love that you're working with all these different athletes, um, veteran community, cancer patients, people that are just struggling, but people that are in a good place as well,
Mhm.
that want to maintain that state. Like, I love the analogy that you use of brushing your teeth. Um, it is, what did you call it? Somatic hygiene.
Yeah.
I love that. It's really cool.
Yeah, and we're even, exploring bringing this into firehouses and police stations where, it's not just, oh, something traumatic happened. Of course, that does happen, especially in those lines, but it's also how do we leave work at work and come back to our families. And so, I think I always just like to show that full spectrum that it can be there for the people that are really going through some deep trauma, experience, or if it's just, hey, let's just kind of make sure we keep the wheels primed and everything moving, and also keep refining and gaining, repositioning, because every day is different. So it's a special thing that has definitely complemented my life, and we're excited to see this continue to grow.
I love that, and I'll say this one thing. I love that you brought up the first responders and firefighters. I was talking to a gentleman the other day, and he was explaining how firefighters, they show up, whether it's a car accident or something, someone fell at home, what have you, they're there. And these traumatic experiences for individuals, well, they're traumatic for the firefighters and first responders as well. They
Mhm.
have to carry that other people's trauma home with them. And I think being able to offer them a tool that enables them to help quiet the mind and reprogram is definitely something that we should all be mindful of in those that help us and how we can serve those that serve us.
Yeah.
So I love what you're doing. Thank you so much for all that you've created and that you're creating in the space that you're offering for so many people to heal and to grow and to offer a new way of being. So thank you
Mhm.
so much, Michael.
Thank you, Courtney. This was a pleasure today.